Breaking news, guys. Shamima Begum's baby, who was just born less than a week ago, has passed away. What's up, guys? This is GN. Guys, if you like my content, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. You know, this is not something to celebrate over. I don't like celebrating someone's death, especially a baby's death. Even though it's his parents were the enemy of what were our enemies. The kid is innocent. He doesn't deserve this kind of retribution. But I'm happy that like it takes away from that takes the baby away from this situation. You know, that I think that's the best thing that could happen to the kid, because him growing up with the parents he had, he would have lived with a lot of regret. So let's read this article. Shamima Begum's baby has died according to unconfirmed reasons, the lawyer of the British wife of ISIS fighter has revealed. The 19-year-old has been struck in Syria displacement camp after UK government has chosen to strip her of her citizenship. Her lawyer, Mohammed Akunji, said she received strong indications that her son had died. He had received strong indications that her son had died. We have strong yet unconfirmed reports that Ms Begum's son has died, the Post told Twitter. She was a British citizen. Begum arrived pregnant at Al-Hol displacement camp from ISIS family members in northern Syria early in February. After fleeing the area under terror group's control, she gave birth to her son shortly after, having already lost two children while on the campsite. You know, I'm not going to be sad over the fact that she lost her son. She knew what she was doing when she went into ISIS territory. They were cutting heads off. That's what they were known for at that time. And she chose to live there and have a child with the enemy. And now that child is dead due to her inaction. If she lived in the UK and didn't go off and fight and support ISIS, she would have probably had a kid by now, and that kid she could have had a nice family, or still would probably be going to university by this time instead of having 3 kids that died. So this is how arrogant she was. Can we play this? No.
Go to the UK if you wouldn't. He would stay with you. Yeah.
So she doesn't want her infant son coming to the UK if he's the only one allowed to come there. So I think this is good for the UK government and the state. All emotions aside, this takes the child out of the equation, and they just have to focus on the mother. And I don't think they should be allowed to come back. I don't wish for them to come back. Legally, that's a different matter. But speaking just strictly as pragmatically, she gave the enemy comfort. She slept with the enemy. She's betrayed her country into being children for the enemy. She went and fought for the enemy. She abetted them, and now she wants to come back. She does not belong in the West. She betrayed us, and she deserves to die. Earlier this month, her lawyer said she has moved to another part of the Iraqi border after receiving threats from residents. The exact location is not clear. So this is a section of the camp which houses the family members of ISIS, and these family members, a lot of these women are pretty fanatical. They're pretty arrogant. Even to these journalists, after they've surrendered, they're like, "Oh, you're the first infidel I've seen in 4 years," and they were calling these people the shoe, and how lowly they are, as opposed to these high-born, Islamic State fighters. Oh, our husbands are lions. Yeah, well, they're gonna die. Kurdish authorities running the camps where the ISIS families were being held were overwhelmed by the sheer number of people leaving the caliphate last days. More than 62,000 are now living in Al-Hol, and Begum first stayed, surpassing the capacity, leaving thousands of sleeping in the cold. So they're running out of supplies as well. Of the last week, 90 people have died on their way to the camp shortly after, 2/3 of whom were babies and infants. Begum's family were lobbying the UK government to repatriate her and her son. Her sister Renu wrote the Home Secretary Sajid Javid, said the family is planning to challenge his decision to strip Ms Begum of her citizenship, and her potential return is a matter of British courts to decide. Absolutely. I don't believe in executive power. Executive authority is something that can be abused. She said her family has lost Shamima to a murderous, misogynistic cult. Absolutely. I'm glad you noticed it. That exploited her and fundamentally damaged her, leading her to sickening comments she had made in recent interviews, including suggesting that Manchester area bombings were justified. And then trying to justify her actions. She's 15. Her father thinks that she's like a 15-year-old in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, you're still like treated like a child even at that age. But United Kingdom and even the U.S., you have some sort of independence at that age. We were pleased to learn that comments of the Commons and that's a mouthful. Recognize the nephew, Shamima's son, a British citizen. She wrote, "As a family, we ask now that she assist you to bring our nephew home to us. In all this debacle, he is one true innocent and should not lose the privilege of being raised safety of this country," the letter said. So, here's the thing. Her husband, the Rajic guy, he was actually at the last days. He was actually in a prison of ISIS. Like they pretty much imprisoned him the last couple of days because they thought he was someone that could not be trusted. They were panicking. They were paranoid at that time, and now ISIS has crumbled. Ms Begum, who's 15, and the two schoolgirls went to join the terror group in February 2015. The tension of the case sparked a debate how the UK should deal with British citizens who went to join ISIS. Mr. Jabba has promised to block British citizens suspect of joining ISIS from returning to the UK. He said the case, my message is clear. If you have supported a terrorist organization abroad, I will not hesitate to prevent your return. So, let's see. I don't feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for the child, but, actually I don't even feel sorry for the child. I feel indifferent for the child. I have nothing against the child. I don't have anything, positive for the child as all. He's a child of our enemy. My enemy. She aided and comforted the enemy. She warmed his bed. She did his laundry. She fed him. She clothed him. She's born children for the enemy. The only justifiable thing you can do to that is to exterminate them. I really wish the United States was not so concerning on these ISIS fighters. I think we have a lot in common with the Russians and even the Assad regime. ISIS is something that needs to be exterminated. They need to be destroyed, and we need to give the Kurds as much support as possible. The Turks are playing this 4D chess, this thing that they're trying to do. The Pakistanis have done this since 1947. The Kurds are backing whichever side that goes up against the Kurds, because the Kurds are the biggest threat to the Turks, and they give support to they give tacit support to they give tacit support to ISIS. They buy their oil. They let the fighters go through. Unofficially though. Supposedly that's what it is, and it's a strong assertion that the Turkish government are abetting ISIS. And now ISIS is completely defeated. The last stronghold of ISIS was destroyed not too long ago, like yesterday. And now what's gonna happen is these people are going to, we don't want them coming back, but we don't want the Kurds to become apathetic and let them melt back into the populace. They should be held in the camps. We should pay the Kurds to hold them in camps, or the Iraqis. And these camps, we should try to see if there are people that are innocent. If they are innocent, we should give them the right to come back. If they were forced to do so, if there were innocent Kurds or Yazidis, they should be more than in fact, those people should be identifying the ISIS fighters, and these ISIS fighters should be executed, regardless of whatever country they're from. This woman is, she's an enemy. She made her bed. I feel indifferent about the child. You know. So guys, thanks a lot for listening. If you like my content, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe.